Welcome to episode 27 of Table Talk. I am the almighty Mo Lightning, joined, of course, by the lovely Lindsey, the almost as lovely Dvon, and then the other almighty Bobby Lashley. Welcome, Bobby Lashley!
Hey.
The other.
Welcome.
The other
almighty. The other almighty.
Yeah. Lashley,
he
thank
always
you.
Says that, hey, actually, I got to deal with that all the time.
Hey,
he loves it.
I'm gonna move up so I can really see you.
Lashley had good things to say about you, Dvon.
Well, I mean, me and Lashley go way back. We go way back. He would have nothing but good things to say about me because I've got nothing but great things to say about him. Yes. Hey, the one thing I will say that Bobby Lashley and I has survived TNA. So if anybody can build a friendship over that, that's a great thing. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Man, TNA was a good time, man. It was a good time for what it was.
Yeah. So
for what it was, and I'll give you that much.
I had asked Lashley to maybe start the show with an embarrassing story, but he said he didn't have any about you.
Because there's nothing out there embarrassing about me, bro. It's always good, except for me running to the ring with toilet paper sticking out of my butt. But other than that, everything's a secret. I will take it to the grave, Lashley. You know that. I'm old school. I ain't telling nobody nothing.
Now, Lashley, let me ask you this. He talked about running to the ring with toilet paper sticking to him. Have you had an embarrassing moment in the ring?
Have you been watching the show for the last couple years? There's been a few things where I kind of cringed, but at the end of the day, man, I was always told you can't take yourself seriously in this business, and the embarrassment just goes along with the game. I mean, every time you go out there, you got to think something is not going to happen right, and you just got to roll with the punches. I mean, I've been put in some controversial storylines and some interesting storylines since I've been back. And at first, I try to let the temper get to it a little bit, but I don't care. I'm really at the position right now where if I can feed my kids, I'm on TV, I'm having a good time. And the one thing I can control is the way that I look on TV. So I'm hitting the gym 24/7, staying in great shape, and whatever they toss me, I know that I'm able to handle it.
Well, I hate to be that guy, but if you've been hitting the gym, we can't really tell.
The only thing I can control, man.
Oh, that's good. I love the storyline. I love what's going on with MVP right now. Dvon apparently does not enjoy that as much as the rest of us. Well, it's just us now.
He quit.
He's done. He's like, I hate this storyline with MVP. I'm out of here.
Terrible. I'm out of here.
How did this come about? Were you approached about this MVP storyline? Did you suggest it? Did he? How did this happen?
Well, we did our little stint back in Impact, and it was one of those things that we kind of threw together. And I thought it went really well when we were in Impact. I was excited. I think like the chemistry that we had was kind of natural because he and I were friends. So what we do on camera is just the same thing that we do off camera. But they get us opportunity to kind of play with it a little bit. When he came here, I think MVP was really just coming to do maybe in VIP lounge. I think it was a favor from Ray or favor from somebody to give him an opportunity so he could get in there. He had a son, and he wanted his son to see him under the lights one time, And then when he came in, Paul came over to me. Paul Heyman came over to me, and he was like, "What do you think about MVP?" And I was like, "It's a no-brainer." I said, "Yeah, I'd like to work with MVP. At what capacity? What are we going to do?" And he said, "I don't know. I think it'd be good." And then every week after that, people kind of kept coming to me saying something, but I didn't know what it was going to be. So I was always for it. I mean, like I said, me and MVP are good friends, and whatever we do is more natural, which is contradicting to anything that I did before. So I was completely for it, and I think right now it's working really well, and I think it's gonna go so much better.
Bobby, did you ever work with MVP and TNA? Because I know both of you were in there for a short period of time. Did you two actually do anything together program-wise when you were there?
Yeah, we had we started the Beatdown Clan. It was me, MVP, and Kenny King. And the chemistry between the three of us was perfect. Because Kenny King was kind of like that, like fire, fire, fire. MVP was the one talking. I was the one with my arms crossed, ready to smash someone. MVP, Kenny King used to always start the fights. He couldn't take it anymore because MVP would be cutting a promo, and then Kenny would be like, I'm tired of talking. And then he would go over there. And of course, Kenny King wasn't beating anybody up. I mean, he would try, but I would come there as a cleaner. So it was just a natural chemistry that we had to each other. But I think what was supposed to happen when we first got together, I think it was supposed to be me, MVP, and Kenny King. MVP was running the mic. He was running his mouth, and he was going for the title. I think it was something where me and Kenny King were supposed to help him get the title. But then MVP goes to the UK and does some independent show, and he blows out his knee or something. And we were already running. So they were like, well, we got to put the title on Bobby. And I was like, you guys should have thought that from the beginning. But they did it, and it worked out well, man. And that time that I had it was when I ran the title the entire time. Of course, MVP came back. He and I had a little bit of a feud. But, I mean, at that time, it was great. I mean, I would work Bobby Roode. Me and him feuded for a while. Me and Eric Young. I feuded with Drew there for a while. Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries. I mean, I was going through everybody, and it was good. It was good. They actually had to break me off of that group, and they formed with Samoa Joe and Low Key after me and MVP had our little feud. It was kind of one of those deals where the title wasn't supposed to be on me. MVP was a little envious of it, and he had the guys jump me. So that's how I broke away from them. So, I mean, it was good. I mean, we had a good time working together. The short time that we were working just together was when we were working up in New York. So we were in New York in that little, I forget what arena that was that we were working there. Did you ever work that one, Dvon?
Which arena was this?
Ah, damn it. It was,
do you remember the state?
It was New York. It was right downtown New York.
And, where ECW used to run.
Yeah.
The ballroom.
Yeah.
The Hammerstein Ballroom.
That's it. Couldn't get it out. Yeah, we were working there for a while, and that's when we were running the most because we were just MVP was like, and that crowd was great, and it was a perfect crowd for us because MVP was running his mouth, saying a lot of things that he shouldn't have said, but we had a tremendous amount of heat.
I think anytime you're in front of a New York crowd, it don't take too much to rile up us New Yorkers, especially if you say something we don't like.
Oh yeah, and he crossed every line that he shouldn't have crossed.
No, not MVP. No.
Dropping a thought line in a promo is something interesting.
Now you scared him away, Dvon.
Why? Every week you scare somebody away.
Uh-oh, did I pause?
No, it's all right. Yeah, it's.
There you go.
We just blame it on Dvon. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, when in doubt, blame Dvon.
He is the old man. You know, dads and technology really don't get along very well. So,
yeah.
Do you have a nickname for him? Do you have like an old name like Pops or anything like that? What's that?
I can't hear.
Well, I think his went out too.
So, yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. So So what I'll do is I'm going to text him real quick, tell him to reconnect because that's what Dvon typically has to do when we lose him.
Yeah, you do. I always got to take it out, but it's usually like you said, it's the AirPods. I can't hear.
Yeah,
but it's all good.
Okay, so, it just keeps things interesting.
So have you worked the Hammerstein Ballroom before? Have you?
Many times with WWE and TNA. ECW One Night Stand. was done there. So there you go, Bobby.
Better? Well, now we can't hear you. I love technology.
Now we
I
can.
love technology. All right.
Anybody read lips?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are still having technical difficulties, but please stand by, and we will make it work.
There you go. There you go. Actually, now it's time for the big reveal that really we only wanted you on here for eye candy.
Yeah. Lindsey, you take it off. Lindsey's salivating at the mouth right now.
No.
Look at her.
Come on. Come on. Darn it.
So yeah, not quite sure what we need to do there, but you can hear us though.
Okay, you know what? And you know what? Why don't you like click off and then come back in, and we'll probably be able to get you from there. And tune out, yeah, that's usually the case. This technology is going crazy right now.
And April
You guys.
telling us what we know. Technology is a wonderful thing.
You gotta love it, April. You gotta love it.
Now,
The bad thing about it is if Mo and Lindsey wasn't on here, I would never be on here because I wouldn't know how to work the technology for nothing. You got to listen. I am grandpa when it comes to technology. I'm going to tell you that right now.
it's all right. It's all right. It happens. This is a good time, though. If you are watching live, you're not watching one of the replays of this, you are welcome to leave a comment like April just did. And if you have a question for our guest who is reconnecting right now, then please leave a message and we'll see if we can. Yes.
And hold on, not yes yet. Say testing.
I heard him. I heard him.
Testing 1 2.
Aha, there we go.
Yes.
Oh, testify.
So
I love it.
Lashley's not eye candy anymore then, or?
Yes.
Okay.
We can be both.
I'm sorry. What are you guys talking about?
Wipe that drool, Lindsey. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, every once in a while, Bobby, she'll get the eye candy and then the alcohol in the cup, which is supposed to be water, coffee, or what have you. She'll add it in there and she'll start drinking it. Next thing you know, questions are flying. Never mind.
Not good. Although Bobby, you should be flattered that Dvon decided to actually wear clothes for this broadcast.
Yes,
yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Well, Bobby, normally I'm naked, and I don't get the eye candy from Lindsey's response. When I do it, but when you do it, it's different. But when I do it, it's kind of like she starts drinking even more to forget what she saw.
It's not a lie.
the more drinks, everybody gets beautiful.
Exactly. Hey, I said the same thing. You turn the lights on, and
Thanks
it's
a
all
lot.
the same.
So we do have some questions coming in. Bobby, what made you decide to come back to WWE this last time?
Because I wanted to hurt people and I couldn't do it at home. I got little kids. I can't hurt them.
I suppose that's a good thing.
No, I never wanted. I always had plans to come back. When I left, there were circumstances that made me leave. Reasons why I had to leave. But when I was gone, what I was trying to do is I was trying to do everything that I can to be able to legitimize my character. When I went to fighting, I jumped into Strike Force, and they thrust me right away into it. I started training, and then I said I wanted to fight. Next thing you know, and I'm semi-main event in American Airlines Arena in Miami. So I went out there and I fought for a few years, and then I was doing some independent stuff because when I first came in, I came straight from the Olympic Training Center. So I think a lot of the guys that came from the indie promotions, they were thinking, he didn't pay his dues. I wrestled for 20 years. I was in a room busting my butt for years in the sport of wrestling. But because I didn't do the independent shows, some people were saying, you didn't pay your dues. So when I left, I did a lot of independent promotions. I went down to Mexico, did a lot of stuff in Mexico and Japan, and I did a lot of independent shows around the United States. So I was just kind of honing my craft and just getting in there and just kind of earning the respect from the professional wrestling community. And then I did the independent stuff, and I did everything that I can. So I always had means to come back. When I signed with Bellator, I had 9 fights with Bellator. I fought 4 of them. And in my contract stated that if WWE ever offered me a contract, they would pause my contract with fighting and allow me to go into WWE. So
now,
I put
Bobby,
the contract way back when. So I always have thoughts or dreams of aspirations or whatever you want to say of coming back.
Now, Bobby, are you done with MMA, or are you still putting it on hold and doing what you're doing in WWE? And then if you leave WWE, are you planning on going back to MMA?
Well, it really depends on how long this ride goes. You know, I have a job right now. Some people didn't have a job, you know, a few weeks back. If I do leave, 100% I will fight again.
Well, the one of the questions is, if you're done with wrestling, let's say you're done, you're finished, is that the open platform for you to go back to MMA, or would you do something different than fighting?
Every one of them have an expiration date. So fighting is going to get to a point where I'm just not going to be able to fight anymore. So what I try to do, what I've done with myself up to this point is I've developed a businesses outside of wrestling. So I don't necessarily have to work when I quit. So if I'm not fighting, I'll just keep doing my houses. I flip a lot of houses. I have a lot of rental properties right now. So I'll just continue on that route if I do. I have a lot of investments with some CBD companies and a couple other investments that I put my hands in. Got a bunch of stock set away. So I have a lot of cushion set away. So I don't necessarily have to be one of those guys that are, you know, having to go to every convention to get extra money here or there. I'm going to do the things that I want to do. Of course, I'm still going to connect with the WWE and the wrestling fans because, I mean, 15, 16, 17 years in the business, there's a lot of connection there. So then I'm still going to do like the major shows, the big shows, and hopefully I can build my character up good enough this run with WWE, that I can maybe hit the Saudi shows or the special guest shows, or that guy that comes back, you know, Goldberg would come back and Taker and Booker and some of these guys would come back to do little matches here and there. I'd like to be able to keep myself in good enough shape that I can come back for those. So yes, I'm fighting. And outside of fighting, if I don't fight, then I'm just going to just live, hang out with my kids. I want to be a high school wrestling coach. That's ultimately what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Well, I want to ask this question. Being that you've got, you know, your hands in pretty much everything now, which is great, and you have flipping houses and things like that. I got 2 questions for you. Number 1, can I have one of your houses? And number 2, can you give me a job?
If you could swing a hammer, I got a job for you. and as far as my houses, man, you know what I did with the houses, and I'll make a long story really, really short. I started flipping houses, and there was a city in Colorado that's about 3 hours south of where I live. And I was up in the mountains with my kids, and we were in the hot springs, and some guy came to me and he was like, "Man, if you're doing some housing stuff, you should look at this place down south in Trinidad." And I was like, "Trinidad, Colorado, I've lived here for so long and had never heard of it." So when I got home, I asked a buddy of mine that I did some investments with, and I was like, "Have you heard of Trinidad?" He was like, "Oh, the sex change capital of the world, or the United States, or whatever." I was like, "No way." So when I did some research, that's what that place was famous for, sex changes, which was weird. So I went in there, and there was probably about 30 houses that were like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a piece, which is right down my alley because I can pick them up, flip them, and then run with it. But I saw so many houses that I was like, "No way, I'm not going to do it." Later on, checked it about a month later, everything was gone. Apparently, somebody came down, they did something with the houses and bought them all up, so that place became hot. And then I brought about 4 or 5 houses down there, and they're doing amazing. I have them all rented out right now, and
fantastic.
Good residual income.
Now, what happens if they don't pay their rent and they're not on time? Do you go down there and make an appearance?
I go see them.
That was always my
That's my
biggest
rent.
fear on having
Man.
property and then renting it out. People not paying their rent on time. What do? Do you go put them through a table, or do you send law enforcement?
Man, you know what? There's
Send Bobby.
different Bobbies in this world. So the first Bobby is like, hey, you know what? I know you probably ran into some tough times, but we're up here. We didn't get your rent. Maybe it's my fault, but maybe you want to check with your bank, see if your check cleared. That's step one. Step two becomes a little more personal, like a little knock on the door. Hey, didn't hear back from you again on that rent. Step 3 and 4 goes to checking pockets and doing everything else. But we get our rent.
That's great.
We were he was mentioning having you were mentioning having some stocks and whatnot. I would love to see you walking around Wall Street and whatnot, intimidating everybody.
Buy that stock.
I think I'm the one person that doesn't live in like the mecca of pro wrestling down there in Florida, where most people are, or down in Houston. I know a lot of people move down there up in New York. I'm down here in Denver, and I think I'm by myself. I think Vince Russo lives somewhere in the mountains. And
Yes,
I
he
think
does.
maybe a couple other guys that live down here. But down here, man, when I go home outside of wrestling, there's a whole different Bobby. I'm more just serene. I'm hanging out with my kids. I do a lot of reading, a lot of investing, and I'm always learning something new. My biggest thing that I've been up to lately was, just because the market crashed so hard, I've been doing a lot of investing. So I've been reading up and researching and figuring out the whole stock game. And for the past few months, I think I got a pretty good handle of it. I'm up pretty high on the portfolio that I set myself. So I think I'm doing pretty good. I got a lot of things going on.
Nice.
Wow, there you go. Nothing wrong with that. And you know what? I'm happy. We're going to go to that question. But I'm very happy, to see somebody in the business, that really doesn't, when they're done, they're done. They can walk away, and there's a cushion behind them where they don't have to keep wrestling until the body is so broken down that, you can't do anything, and yet you're hurting your legacy, and it's very happy to see that this generation is actually taking the money and being smart with it and not being silly with it, because so many athletes today, as you know, basically blow through it all. And at the end of the day, they have nothing to fall back on, you know? And, it's really good, Bobby, to know that all of this stuff is lined up for you. So whenever you decide to walk out, see you later. Bye-bye. And no regrets, no nothing. And whatever's left in the basement is out.
It's out. Man, and you know what, on top of that, like, and I'll say this, and we can check it, and I say this almost every interview. There's never going to be any time that you see an interview where Bobby Lashley is bad-mouthed anyone. I've never done it, and I'm never going to do it. And I feel like sometimes when people leave, that's their way of that niche. We talked about before, let's bash somebody still in the business so we can get views. You're never going to get that from me. If you get that from me, then I really messed up, and I really took some bad turns.
I mean, if you want to practice on Dvon, it's okay.
Listen, Mo, I'm retired.
Stop.
What is wrong with you? No one time. Listen, I'm done. MVP, your new co-buddy here, always talking about Dvon, you can come back in the ring like I did. I said, no. I said, I'm good with the pencil in my hand and the paper. I said, I'm good. I don't need to come back. I've done more than enough. You guys hurt. I look at what you guys do in the ring, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to get hit that hard. I'm done. I feel it now. 40-something years old, I feel it. It doesn't tickle anymore. Before I used to, adrenaline. Now it's like, oh my God, my back. Oh my God, it hurts. I'm an old man now.
You know what? There's been that time in my career several times where I looked around and said, what in the hell am I doing? I mean, all the way across the board. I'm older than you.
This is why the opportunity came, I stepped away, and I'm good. I am good right now. I leave it up to you guys to go ahead and make the history, because, again, it's over for me, but, seeing you guys still go, hey, that's good enough for me. I'm just gonna let you know that right now.
You've created an incredible legacy that's gonna live on in the wrestling business forever. I think anytime you talk tag team division, you're gonna talk the Dudleys, no matter what. Team 3D, whoever you want to say, you're always going to say that. So
Thank you, my brother.
That's an amazing thing. That's what I'm trying to build also, man. You know, I've had some matches that are going to stick in there, but I think there's a little bit more to chip away for me to really seal legacy.
Well, I think you've already there. That's my thing. I think you're already there. The things that you've done, the championships and things of that nature. And, you know, I just feel that, Bobby, if anything, you have a career right now that's not only on the right track, but you are going to make even more history as the years goes on. I think Bobby Lashley will be a name that will be synonymous in terms of pro wrestling. You won't be able to mention you know, pro wrestling and some of the greats without mentioning your name when your career is done.
I appreciate that, man.
Now,
we're friends. We're friends. We're not going to bash each other.
Nice try, Mo.
but I'm going to send you my Venmo account. If something pops up there, I'll tell you everything you want to know about Dvon.
He's got some secrets. He's got some secrets.
Now, Bobby, you can't leave until you get this match with Lesnar, as Eric posted in this. When's it going to happen, and will it be an MMA fight if it happens?
Look here, this is what I say, and I had this conversation about somebody. I've had this conversation with somebody that's really close with him, and at the time I was like, why aren't we making this happen? I mean, it's not something that I don't want. It's something that I want. When I first started, people were saying, "Oh, that's the Black Lesnar," and I was like, "No," but I understand that you guys have some kind of comparison because we had kind of similar careers. I think it's something that needs to happen, whether they do it or not. I was told at one point in time that, "Oh, well, Brock is, you know, this is Brock. You're not at his level yet." So I don't know. Now the high ups, I haven't really talked about it with Vince or anybody like that, but I think at one point in time there was some talk about maybe teasing it and seeing where it went. But at the time he was knee deep in a feud with Roman, and then Seth was coming behind him. They already had things lined up for him. I think if any time it's now. I think now is a really good time. I think I've gotten through with all the paying dues stuff that I've done since I've been back. And I think my character is starting to develop a little bit more to being who I am. I get to fight. I get to beat people up. And I don't have to lay down to the guys that are 100 pounds less than me that you know, they shouldn't really even be in the ring with me. Let's put it that way.
I agree. But let me ask you this, Bobby. In the event, and I get it, if anybody was going, if this was going to happen, I would say it would probably should happen now. But being with the pandemic and everything that's going on, would we want to wait until some things got, you know, back to normalcy? And the reason why I say that is because now you have the arena filled with the crowd, and now the reaction, and we all know is being talent, that we feed off the people. And whether you're a heel or babyface, we feed off of it. So are we missing the boat if we go too fast and do it during the pandemic where we don't have people in the audience, or should we wait?
Gotta wait. I think we gotta wait because we don't know when we're going to be out of it. That's the bad part. Because if we knew when we were going to be out of it, we wouldn't have to wait so much. Because I think with me and Brock, even the fact of teasing it, I think we would make a tremendous amount of TV with just showing the training that he and I were preparing to get ready for that thing. I mean, because if you really feel, if you were really going to let us go, whether it's an MMA fight, I saw somebody talking about it down there, or whether it was a pro wrestling match, there's a considerable amount of training that he and I would both go through. I saw him kind of going back in his wrestling room in Minnesota. I would go down to Olympic Training Center. I would do some wrestling down there. I do stuff in the mountains. He does stuff out in the woods. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we could be training similar that people would be really interested in seeing. How strong is he? Who's stronger? Who's faster? Who's more athletic? Who's a better wrestler? Who's a better striker? I mean, there's a lot of different things that we can go. I mean, people want us to be in an MMA fight. People want us to be in a pro wrestling match. Shit, I box. I don't care. I'll box. I do a lot of boxing, kickboxing, no matter what it is. I'm up for it, man. I like challenges. And I think right now, Brock is the challenge in professional wrestling. Brock is the challenge in MMA. Because you see when he goes to MMA, they're not saying, okay, work your way up. They're saying, okay, Brock is a title shot. So he's put himself to that level, so you can't deny that. But I think on top of that, you know, he and I both had different paths going into it. My path was a little bit different. I had to start from the bottom. I had to work my way all the way up. When I first started MMA, I didn't say, hey, let's just run to the UFC and knock on the door. I told myself, hey, I want to be a martial artist. So I worked with a boxing coach for years, several different boxing coaches, really high level. Jiu-jitsu, I worked up in the jiu-jitsu rank. I trained my wrestling. I became a student of the game, and I said, I don't want to take anything, I want to earn it. And I'm not saying Brock did, but there were some stories that, you know, Brock, they needed him for MMA. They needed him. Brock didn't need them. They needed him. So they made it so that Brock was able, I heard that there was something where he was able to build a gym outside his house and have people come in. For my fights, I was flying down to Florida, flying down to California for a week here, a week there, coming back, taking care of my kids. And I was having to juggle a whole bunch of things, but I still made it work. So even right now, you know, I'm not doing the limited schedule. I'm there every week. You see me. Actually, I'm going to jump on a plane today
and head on down
there.
So
well, you know,
what Lashley is saying is he's a badass and Brock's a pansy. That's what I heard.
I don't know.
No.
Well, I am going to say this. I'm happy that WWE did not try and rush this. I'm glad that if Roman was there and they put him with Roman, if Seth was there, they made it with Seth. And the reason why I say that is because I don't feel that you and Brock should be watered down at all. I don't think it should start today but go on tomorrow. I think this is something that can build and build to the people who are going to really want to see this fight. And when it happens, it's going to go down. So I'm glad that they didn't do it then when he had Roman and when he had Seth. I get it. People wanted to see it, but I think this needs story. I think this needs time. And I think the people need to feel it as opposed to being rushed through it.
You know what the story is? Let's play fantasy wrestling. Fantasy wrestling. Brock comes in for a title match. Him and Drew are going after it. Something happens. Bobby slides in the ring. Drew just beat Bobby. Bobby wants Brock. Who does he go after? I take him out. Let me and Brock run as a doggone modern day Road Warriors and kill each other for a while.
I love it. I love it.
And then we get to the point where Paul Heyman is saying, I have the single greatest fighter, wrestler in the history of this business and the best tag team in the history of this business. Who are you talking about? Are you talking
Bobby
about
Lashley and the Dudley Boys?
Or are you talking about him? I think some of the best feuds are the feuds that happen because you're friends beforehand. Let me and Brock run as a tag team, being just crazy for a while until it gets to the point where it's like ego takes over and it draws us apart.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways that we can do it, but I think it definitely needs to happen before either one of us get too old and can't do it anymore.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Great question from Matt here. Have you ever been uncomfortable? We talked about maybe you weren't as proud of some storylines, but what about just outright uncomfortable?
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't you be? There's certain things that you have to do in the wrestling business where it's like you do what's best for the show. And I don't know if it was best for the show, but when you come back and you pay your dues and you say that you want to do whatever it takes to be on the roster, and sometimes there's things that might not be the most favorable thing to do, but wasn't so uncomfortable. The only thing that was uncomfortable for me was there was a brief time in my career as I came back that my kids were coming with me to every one of the shows, sitting front row, watching it following along online. And then there was a time where none of that happened, where I wasn't bringing them to shows. They weren't watching the show for a while, and it was a little uncomfortable. Certain things, like I didn't want my kids, sitting in front of the TV in certain episodes, but I talked with them. It was a hard talk with them, but I talked with them about it, and my kids are cool. My kids are awesome. My kids are incredible. So I think with open dialogue, anything can be worked out. But at the end of the day, it's TV, man. It's not. If you start blurring the lines between everything and confusing people where TV and reality, then it becomes a problem. But not me. If I got a movie line today that I had to do something that was a little bit risque or a little different, I think I'd be okay with it, depending on what it was. Not porn.
Good. Not that. Okay.
Mo, you gonna get in trouble?
Oh,
How did that get there?
see, I just said you will never ever hear me badmouth anyone.
Oh, we got to get Brock on the show, and I'm gonna have. Here's the deal.
Brock will say, Bobby who?
But before he even thinks about taking on Lashley, I'm taking snapshots of this. So when Brock Lesnar comes on, I'm gonna send it to him to his phone and go, "This is what Mo said about you."
Oh.
And he'll be like, Mo who? So there you go. Yeah, that's all right.
Oh man, well, Bobby, thank you so much for coming on the show this week, man. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. And again, I meant what I said, man. When your career is over, and when people talk about some of the greats, your name will definitely be a part of that, because you have truly, I've been there when you were in OVW, when you first started, up until the present day, where now I'm even one of your producers for some of your matches. And again, I couldn't be more proud to be a part of that back then in OVW, helping you, and now moving forward as a producer and trying to help you together with the matches. Again, my hat goes off to you. I have nothing but respect and nothing but love for you, my brother. And I thank you so much for just being you.
My pleasure, man. And I'll always be me. You know that.
Oh, I know that. Oh, testify.
If people want to reach out to you, Bobby, where can they do so?
Every once in a while I get forced to do Instagram. I'll throw stuff out on there. If that's the best place to reach me. I don't do anything with Twitter. Sometimes I do. Usually I don't. So I think Instagram is probably the best way to reach me.
Excellent. Thank you again for your time. Thank you for everything you do. Safe travels. And
Yes.
whenever you want to cut that first scathing promo on somebody, right here.
Yes.
My brother. Bobby, I'll see you tomorrow, my friend.
Right on. Thank you, guys. Lindsey.
Thank you.
Bye. It's nice talking. Bye.
All
Lindsay's
right.
like, damn it.
Oh, so
Lindsay's
nice.
like, damn it. I didn't get to take the shirt off. Damn.
That's unfortunate. Sorry, Lindsay.
Hold on, Lindsay. Wait, hold on. Let me take off my shirt. No.
Wait.
My eyes.
Okay. All right. No, I saved us.
Oh,
Stop
thank you.
it.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
So many
Oh,
questions.
man.
I want to thank everybody who wrote in. I apologize for not being able to get to all the questions, but we only have so much time with our guests. But some great stuff coming in. I wanted to ask about The Undertaker, and since he's not here, I'll ask you, Dvon. Second best. Undertaker announcing his retirement on the last ride this week. When did you meet The Undertaker? What were your interactions like? Tell us some stories.
Well, I met The Undertaker at the Manhattan Center. And it was when ECW took on the WWE, when we invaded that time. I think that was in 97, right before Barely Legal, the ECW pay-per-view. And, Taker was on the scene for a while. When I first saw him coming as Undertaker, I believe I was somewhere in maybe a junior in high school, somewhere like that, going into a senior. And so again, I didn't grow up watching him, of course, because he came in during the late 90s.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, the late 80s
Yeah.
as Undertaker. Although he was in WCW as one of the skyscrapers, I really didn't watch WCW that much because up north, WWE/F was the show to watch up there. And so I really didn't know Taker until he got to WWE. And so when I met him at the Manhattan Center, when you watch Undertaker walk to the ring, there's a sense, there's an aura about him that's, number one, creepy as hell because he plays the part so good. And there is another aura about him where don't mess with him. Ask for permission if you want to joke with him, because he can turn around and give you that Taker look and you're like, oh God, don't say anything. But all in all, he's a great guy. We were done doing what we were doing at the Manhattan Center. I wrestled Tommy Dreamer with Sandman coming in and interfering that night. And I remember because we were the last match that ECW was showcasing that night on Monday Night Raw. And I guess we had a commercial break of some sort where Vince had actually left the announce table and came in the back to talk to Paulie. And at the time, Undertaker had grabbed him before we were able to talk to him. And I remember looking at him and going, oh my God, it's the Undertaker. Just like everybody else that has met Taker for the first time, who's watched him do his thing, it's, oh my God, you're mesmerized, and you couldn't believe it. And Taker is every bit of 6'10". So not only am I going, oh my God, this is Undertaker, but I'm like, oh my God, this is Undertaker. But again, the nicest guy in the world came over to us when half of the guys back then didn't think that ECW should have even been nowhere near the Manhattan Center when WWE was there. Taker was welcoming us with open arms. He sat there and he talked to us. He made us feel comfortable. And that's the one thing about Taker. If you ever know anyone that knows Undertaker that have met him for the first time and has been in the locker room, he will make you feel at home. Just don't disrespect the man and you'll be able to live and see another day. But for the most part, great guy. Again, I remember shaking his hand. And again, the aura that you feel from him is just like, it's unreal. It really is. He plays that part so damn well. And then all of a sudden, you meet him outside of the wrestling arena and the ring, and it's just like he's one of the boys. He jokes with you the whole nine. It was WrestleMania in Toronto, and me and Taker and my ex-wife at the time, we went out to eat with him, and he was with his ex-wife at the time, Sarah. And we were at Planet Hollywood in Toronto. I'll never forget it. We're at Planet Hollywood and we're all talking and, we're just shooting the stuff, the whole nine. And all of a sudden, the song Kung Fu Fight came on. But the beginning of the song, when it starts, ho, 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 and then all of a sudden, like we're talking and he hears that and he stops because I was in the middle of saying something. And all of a sudden, he just stops. And I look at my ex-wife at the time. I'm just like, did I say something wrong? What the hell? And I looked at his ex-wife. I looked at Sarah, and I said, I think I might have messed up. And she looked at me and looked at him. And all of a sudden, when that part came on, everybody wants to Kung Fu Fight. He just broke out, stood up in the middle of the restaurant. Huh, 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 huh. And we were just like, what the hell? And he goes, yeah. He was like, I love that song.
I can't even imagine The Undertaker doing that in any form.
Oh, it was great. The last time I saw Taker was around WrestleMania, and I brought that up to him, and he beat me to the punchline because I was telling the story, and he knew exactly what I was talking about. He said, yeah, he goes, I do that. When that song comes on, I just lose my mind. That's one of my favorite songs, and I love to interact like I'm doing karate stuff.
I can't imagine. Like, I learned something new about the Undertaker today, and I would have never guessed that was one of his favorite songs.
Yes, it was. I didn't even know it, and I'm sitting there in Toronto with him, about to redo WrestleMania, with the TLC match again, and freaking Taker's dancing out to Kung Fu Fighter.
Nice. Is there
Fantastic.
Is there a song that gets you to do the same thing, Dvon?
I mean, other than me being a huge Michael Jackson fan, I think anyone who knows me and even the fans know how big of a fan I am of Michael. I'm going to say probably my own theme music.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
It could be either one.
Yeah.
The Reverend Dvon song or the Power Man 5000.
Ooh, Bombshell. Nice choice.
Yeah, Bombshell. And not to mention, I mean, a lot of people don't know this about me. When I was in high school, at the time, I was a huge metalhead. Loved Iron Maiden was my favorite group. And to all the brothers out there that's watching this, don't get me wrong. I didn't leave rap. Don't worry, I didn't lose my brotherhood. I wasn't a Carlton, but but I really appreciated metal at the time. And so I was like dabbing into both, rap music when it first started, of course, the old school rap, and now, of course, metal when it started hitting in the 80s, before grunge came in and killed it, But a lot, yeah. But a lot of those songs, though, from the metal days, I love, man. That would get me going. And when we played football when I was in high school and things like that, we used to blast it in the locker room and get us charged and get us going.
Lindsey, we've been doing this show for 6 months. I don't think I know what your musical preference is.
I like a little bit of everything except for country. I'm not a country fan.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
cannot do it.
I think you know what, Lindsey, I basically was with you on that. Totally. You and Mo both. Totally with you on that. Taylor listens to that constantly. Every song that comes on the radio, this girl knows and can sing every lyric. It's like, I'm like, what? So, of course, there's always a fight in the car when we're driving in terms of, I want to listen to country. I'm like, no, I don't always know damn country. Put Biggie Smalls on. There's always a fight. So because of that, of course, I got to learn to, step down, put my pride aside. I listened to the country music, and it got to the point where I was like, okay, it's not bad. I mean, it's not my preference, but it is what it is.
Okay.
I'll settle for it. But I do agree with both of you, though. I do agree. It did turn me up a little bit as well.
I don't know why. I've never liked it.
Go
ahead.
I could do a whole show on this. We don't want to get me with this worked up about this, but
Yeah.
But Lindsey, who are some of your favorite artists then?
Okay, so I do listen to bluegrass because I am in the mountains, and I like more of the Avett Brothers.
Is that like an echo from the other hills that you just hear?
Yeah, the banjo music. So there's a river, there's the banjo, so we're paddling. Gotta go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But in my car, I have satellite radio, and Pop Rocks is always on. It's 90s, 2000s, early 2000s, and it's just kind of, I don't know, whatever was on the radio in the 90s and early 2000s is what I just.
Okay.
But that's the station that I know every song that comes on. I can start singing to it. So where I fall, yeah.
All right. I'm just curious. Now we know you really like the TV show Lucifer, and we can't do a table talk without talking about it. Lindsey, what's going on with it?
I have my Lucifer shirt on too. There's an episode where Ella wears this exact shirt, and I ordered it. Spiritual.
Hello, Lindsey. You and I together on this. We might not be seeing eye to eye on Tiger King, which we never will. Okay, that is a god awful show. Okay, I gotta stop saying that. It's not that bad. It's okay for people that like it. Okay, but it's whatever. In terms of Lucifer, though, you and I are on the same page here.
Yes.
And if you ordered that, then you should have got me one. And I'm hurt right now. My heart is bleeding. I'm there. Just stop lying. Stop lying, Mo.
Dvon, it's a crop top. Do you like
That's
that?
even better. That's even better, Twan.
Okay. I'll get you a spiritual gangster shirt.
I'm just saying.
Crop
I mean, you need to
top.
help a brother out. I'm having issues right now. I'm having a moment.
I can see. All right. Do you know when's the release date? Do you know it's coming?
I know it's August. I don't remember the exact date, but I know it's somewhere August 20 something.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Season 5A, so the first 8 episodes of the season. They're gonna make us wait longer, and they're gonna do season 5B.
Now, here's the question I got to ask you: do you wait until they both come out, so then that way, or you're gonna watch it?
I'm not patient. I can't wait. I gotta watch it. Probably all in one day.
It is August 21st, by the way.
Okay. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait. I think the last Lucifer left me hanging.
Yes.
In other words, when I say hanging, I just mean, and that's what a show is supposed to do. It's not supposed to leave you going, okay, that's it. You're supposed to go, oh, no, God, they got to make some more.
Yeah.
You can't wait till next season. You know, there's a show called Greenleaf. That's I believe it's Greenleaf. I believe I'm right. I got to check on that. It's from Oprah Winfrey. Yes, and that too.
Never mind, I'm out.
You got to watch it. It's good. It's very good. And I still think that we should legalize marijuana here in Florida. Again, I said it before and I'll say it again. I think it's more for people who with aches and pains that don't want to be addicted to the drugs and the pills and things like that. I just feel that they should do it, man. They should definitely medical use of it. It's incredible. It really, really is. And so many people talk about how it helps them out and makes them feel a certain way. Of course, it's going to make them feel good, but it heals the pain. It heals all the aches and pains that go in their body. They don't feel it. And if that's going to help them, then so be it, especially with cancer patients.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lindsay's going to be on shrooms next week, with or without that.
Listen, I don't know about you, Mo, but I want to really know what's in that cup Lindsay's drinking. I'm just saying. It's like when you hold on. It's like when you go to Catholic church, and all of a sudden the priest is drinking the drink from the communion, and you know that ain't water or grape juice. That's something else.
The communion cup where they're all like you take a sip and then they turn it and then you take a sip.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What's in that cup?
We will never know. I bet nobody has any clue.
Never ever.
Yeah.
Now, we love talking about our shows on the site. I discovered a new one. I started watching Dark on Netflix this past weekend. Have either of you guys heard about this?
No, I haven't.
No.
All right, so Rotten Tomatoes and Netflix teamed together to do a March Madness-esque tournament of 64 of the original Netflix shows. So Stranger Things and Glow and Lost in Space and all these shows competing to be number one. Dark won. Dark won the whole tournament, and I hadn't even heard of it before this tournament.
Huh.
So I'm like, okay, it won. Let's see if it's just the fans really getting behind it or if it's really good. I got through a whole season in one day on Saturday. It's like Stranger Things with time travel. It's amazing.
Wow. Okay.
It's German. It's German produced, German actors. So there's English dubbing and English subtitles, but the show's so good you don't even realize it. I mean, just go with it. Yeah.
All right.
And Dvon,
I gotta take a look at this.
You would like it because there is nudity in it.
Then I'm in. As soon as we hang up on this, I'm out. I'm
like the first scene, even Dvon.
And this is called what?
Just Dark. DARK. Just Dark.
Yes, indeed. No, my brother.
I watched something last night on Netflix, and I did lose about an hour of my life. It's called 365 Days.
Yeah.
Speaking of nudity.
Hold on, you do know.
Shades-esque.
Yeah, I was about to say that's exactly what it's. I don't know if you've seen it, Mo, or seen the previews of it, but yeah, Lindsay, you're absolutely right. It's like the next step into 50 Shades.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Lindsay, do you want to explain why you were watching that?
I would love to hear this. Inquiring minds definitely want to know.
A coworker recommended it. She said the storyline was fantastic.
So
it was great.
A coworker said this.
Great.
Hey, Dvon, have you seen the newest issue of Penthouse? The articles are amazing.
Oh, I bet. I mean,
yes,
it's fantastic.
Exactly.
I mean, Playboy, the whole nine. I mean, I only read it for the articles.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's watched that movie only because people at work told her to watch it. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. We were talking about it at work, and I said,
Lindsay, you are so telling on yourself.
It's okay. It's okay. Yes. I haven't even finished all this beverage.
I bet you haven't. Again, it's probably stronger than strong. But I will say this. There is a wine out there called Foley. Now, I don't know if I've told you this. There's a red wine called Foley. Lindsay, phenomenal. If you get a chance to go to the store and pick it up, I want you to try to get it and let me know what you think. It's called Foley. Can
you send me a case? I'll send you my
listen, I'm trying to get the case. I'm going back to get a case. Let me tell you. It was very good. Very, very good.
Is it like a red blend or what kind of wine is it?
It's a little dry. It's like a Cabernet.
Okay.
Again, it's very smooth though. Very, very smooth. Love it. Love it.
Great.
I love that she asked this question like she actually cares about the answer when really all she's thinking is there alcohol in it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the content? Okay. 5.5. Okay.
The ABV is a little low, but okay.
Okay, we'll do it.
No,
I'll have a little bit more.
I do enjoy drinking wine. I do enjoy it I like the different types, and I like. I actually worked in a restaurant, fine dining, a long time ago, where we had to explain wines and do tastings and acquired a nice taste for all the good expensive stuff. And cheap and boxes, but.
I do love about this show that the three of us have radically different backgrounds and tastes and whatnot, where I don't drink, so in this conversation all I can do is just listen to you two lushes talk about whatever you need to.
That's what this stands for.
Hey, exactly. It's table talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Lushy Lindsay.
Absolutely.
So Dvon, let me ask you this as we got to wrap this up here in a few moments. If you had to pick a moment or a memory from the last week, what was your favorite moment of the last week?
Well, I'm probably going to have to say getting in the pool with my kids, and my son decides, because when you first get into the water, sometimes if it's not warm enough, you just want to ease yourself into it. So my son decided to basically, soon as I got in and I got about, say, maybe waist level of the pool, he decided to take a bucket that was in the pool, fill it up with the pool water that was kind of cold, and dump it on me. So of course now I'm just like, oh, and I'm like, okay, I'll get you. I will get you. Now, of course, I can't do that back to him because he's like a little fish. He's swimming around. He don't care about the cold water. He good. But I found out what he does care about, especially if the neighbors are all outside, is that he lost his trunks in the process of trying to swim from one end of the pool to the other. Yeah, and accidentally the trunks actually went from his body to the other side of the pool deck area, and he had to get out and get it, and nobody else got it for him. So that was my most memorable moment. And just know that if my son, who is probably watching this or will watch it, if you do it again, you will not only get your trunks taken off of you, but you'll be locked out of the house trying to get back in with no pants on. Just saying.
Oh, no.
Damn. That's
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, I can't dunk him in the water already because he's already in there. And I can't drown him. I go to jail.
Yeah, I suppose so. Lindsay, do you have a favorite moment from last week?
I do. Well, actually, it was not as exciting as Dvon's moment, but my dog donated blood this week. And we gave it to a dog that was really sick, and the dog made it through the night and is doing well now. So I have a little hero dog, and that was really cool.
That is awesome.
That's real cool.
Yeah.
Real cool.
That's awesome.
And what about you, Mo?
Mine. I received actually a really nice compliment yesterday, probably when I needed it most. An industry veteran, for anybody not aware, I've been doing radio and entertainment for about 20 years. And somebody who's been around that I look up to told me that said, the best thing about you, Mo, is you don't know how good you really are. Stay like that. And it was complimentary, and it was what I needed at the moment. And so that was probably it. Because
Mo, I would have to say that I definitely agree with that person. You really don't know how good you really are. And one of the reasons, that Miss Rachel has put all of us together on this show. Again, Rachel, I know you hate compliments, but thank you very much for putting us all into contact with each other. As soon as, she introduced me to you and basically told me what you did, I said, this is perfect. This is what I want to do. Because at first, I don't know if you knew this, Mo, but at first, and I think I think Lindsey was there at the time, I didn't want to do a show.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I didn't want to have, my own show. I just wanted to be on a show and do publicity for, things that were coming up. And then when I spoke to you, you said, hey, I heard you want to do a podcast. And I was like, yeah. And you're like, yeah. So did you have any ideas on what you wanted to call the show? I said, whoa, wait a minute. What?
So good. He freezes. That's a good pose right there. That's the best one. That's going to be screenshotted right there.
Screenshot it.
Yeah. That one's going to be good. I don't know if he can hear us, but I wish he could see where his face is stuck right now.
Amazing.
We have a new Testify graphic. If you look above Lindsey's head.
I've been trying to wait this way.
That's good. Yeah.
I can't.
There's going to be a whole series of Dvon faces on the feed here. So, but if Dvon, if you can hear, thank you. I do appreciate that sincerely. So on that note, I suppose we wrap things up here. I'll just kick him out. He's just done. He's done. He's out of here. Lindsey, thank you for your time as well.
Thank you so much.
Sober up well, and we will talk to you next week.
Thank you so much. Okay.